finished watching Emily in Paris over the weekend, and I have some thoughts. Unlike the previous seasons, where a lot of the criticism was surrounding French stereotypes, unrealistic representation of work in marketing firms, and an overall disregard for other people's feelings, there is something about season 5 that didn't bother me as much as the previous season. I actually work in marketing, and while I don't live in Paris, a lot of what Emily does day to day, such as pitch ideas for campaigns, get new clients, and keep existing clients happy, that's what I do for a living. Which is why I felt this season, willingly or unwillingly, reflected on the reality of work and even the relationships that agencies have with their clients. So let's get into it. We know that in the previous season, Emily and Sylvie signed Moratori as a client, and to cater to them, they opened a Rome office. On the surface, this is a win. An elusive brand that has built its legacy on quality, opens its doors to a French marketing firm that represents luxury brands. What could go wrong? Turns out, this is one of those old-fashioned businesses that resist marketing. They are putting the quiet in quiet luxury. In fact, the very reason why Emily is fired is because her marketing efforts result in something the brand never wanted, which is to be known and to be accessed. On the off chance that you were one of those people that felt bad for Emily, I have news for you. In the marketing world, you actually do get fired for misunderstanding the brand and company values. Yes, they hired her for marketing. And when you market something well enough, the influencers will show up and ask for t-shirts. But there are clients out there that don't want that. There are many reasons for this. Maybe the target audience is older, specifically the age bracket that does not know how to go live on TikTok. In this specific case, the brand did not want to grow. Why? Because they wanted to maintain quality and not increase their budget. It's a very strange concept for business owners to hire a marketing agency to not grow, but it's not uncommon. There are business owners out there that don't want to change how they run their business. And they will hire a marketing agency just to send out Christmas cards. And they're allowed to do that. Emily was asked to do nothing, yet she insisted on sharing her ideas with someone who can admire them but not value them. Believe it or not, this is a difficult lesson to learn. Her eagerness to share ideas with a client that has no interest in heading the same direction as Chanel or Gucci is not a sign of competence. It's a sign of wasted effort on a client that was simply there to help you get other clients in Rome. The fact that they wanted her to do nothing could have been an opportunity instead of a problem she had to fix. The fact is, there are businesses out there that don't care what marketing trends are popular or how to get more leads. This is what emerging businesses care about. This is what businesses that have fierce competition would care about. You may have noticed the if you know brands don't have aggressive marketing. These brands are not chasing numbers. In fact, they benefit from their exclusivity, and there is quite literally nothing more damaging to them than being accessed by influencers. So this brings us to the next point, which is the influencer problem. If you've worked with marketing, you know how effective influencers are when you want a brand or a product to be discovered. This is nothing new. We've all heard of word of mouth marketing. And yet there's something about this line of work that is devoid of respect. Now you could argue that the reason why nobody respects influencers is because of the cash grabs, the inauthentic marketing of brands they are sponsored by. But with that logic, they are valuable to the companies, right? And I have news for you. As someone who works in marketing and has seen this time and time again, no one hates an influencer more than the companies that know their success depends on them. In fact, I would go so far as to say that an influencer is the representative of the audience that they are trying to make money off of. Even in the show, they make influencers come off as soulless, walking brand mouthpieces that take over sacred spaces like the plague. But if you hate influencers so much, it just means you hate your customers. And by extension, you don't think that they deserve the best of the best. It's very sinister. And I don't know if they were intentionally trying to give us this message, but it was interesting to see these dynamics play out. Another thing that I thought was interesting in the show is how Nico and Marcello break away from their families only to realize that they were not interesting on their own. And it was the family name that mattered. We often think that running a business is just about creating value. If your product is good enough, if your marketing is good enough, you'd actually make it. You'd be surprised to see how often something skyrockets in popularity just because of who you know. Another way to look at this is as financial abuse that is happening in well-off families. We all want to be Nepo babies so bad, but being a Nepo baby essentially means doing well in a career path that someone else laid out for you. Your success is guaranteed, but it's also capped at a certain level. Marcello is out here making his own quirky, colorful designs, and up until the moment that he's cast out and sued, he wasn't emotionally ready to explore that side. It's almost as if he's trying to dull himself down to not betray his mom with his ideas and his success, which is clearly not something they wanted to explore in detail on a fun, non-serious show like Emily in Paris. But I do wish there was more of it. I think a lot of people were mad that they cut short the Rome chapter early on, and then it was just Emily in Paris all over again. And yes, all of this is a bit too real for Emily in Paris, but I think that was the point. The past few seasons, it seems no idea was ever bad or misaligned. No business move was too outlandish. And that is just not how marketing works. In fact, most of the time, nobody even cares about your idea. You are hired to applaud the client's idea, no matter how bad it is. And it's your job to make it more realistic, without, of course, pissing them off. This was the first time in the show where we see marketing teams not just focus on doing the work, but also realizing that you could be great at what you do. It doesn't mean the client wants it. And most importantly, cutting your losses. You can't run someone's business for them. And that is probably the most honest and realistic business or marketing lesson that I have to say I was not expecting from a show like Emily in Paris.